Let's talk Tanya for the 18th of Teves of a leap year. In chapter 9, which was 2 days ago or 3 days ago, we talked about the battle between the animal soul and the godly soul. We said there are three possible outcomes. The first outcome is what we discussed in the last 2 days, that is the tzaddik. The tzaddik is the one whose godly soul has overpowered the animal soul. The second possible outcome is the opposite, which is the rasha, which is someone whose animal soul has gained some sort of domination and advantage over the godly soul. How does this express itself? Practically speaking, this is someone who, in their struggle between the godly soul and the animal soul, they have a success rate of anywhere between 0%, that's obviously on the very, very low end and very, very rare, and 99%. In other words, someone who 99% of the time is victorious, their godly soul is victorious in the battle, is still called a rasha. So as you can see, the rasha encompasses probably the majority of the people who we know. Again, these could be people who are very wonderful people who almost all the time are doing the right thing and they're serving God. But if they fail every once in a while, every so often, that makes them a rasha, which raises the obvious question: if this is a person who, all in all, and generally speaking, is a good person, you might even want to say a holy person, and they slip up every once in a while, why are they called a rasha, which a rasha translates as a wicked person? But this goes back to something which we've touched upon already, which is tzaddik, rasha, and beinoni. These three outcomes, it's not about behavior. It's about internal state. As mentioned, the internal state of the tzaddik is one where the godly soul has dominion, has had advantage, has overpowered the animal soul. In the rasha, it's someone who's the opposite. Internally speaking, there is some sort of imbalance. The animal soul has managed to weaken the godly soul to a certain extent. Just how weak is that? Just how weakened has the godly soul become? Well, we see if the person fails only, every so often, and even that failure is a minor failure, that means that it's a very slight imbalance, and the advantage that the animal soul has over the godly soul is a very slight one. If it becomes a bigger imbalance, and the animal soul manages to overpower and overwhelm the godly soul to a greater degree, then that person is going to slip up and fail more often. But ultimately, the idea over here is that a rasha is someone who internally, the animal soul has gained an advantage, and that expresses itself in the fact that that person is going to fail in their struggle every once in a while. That is the second possible outcome. Again, outcome number one, godly advantage to godly soul. Outcome number two, the rasha, advantage to the animal soul. And tomorrow we will begin chapter 12, and we will talk about the third possible outcome, and arguably the most important for us of the three outcomes.